Our special guest is the former world's fastest human, an Olympian from the 1964 Olympic Games, Bullet Bob Hayes. On the subject of that Bullet Bob Hayes moniker, you went on to an all-pro career with the Dallas Cowboys. Don Meredith, who later went on to broadcasting fame, was throwing to you.
Yes.
But Bob, I think you were principally responsible for changing the defenses in the National Football League as it relates to how they deal with wide receivers. I mean, you stretched the field quite a bit, and I think the zone defense was implemented because of your speed.
Well, you know, the best coaches in the nation in professional football also said this. Our late Tom Landry, Don Shula, Chuck Noll, Al Davis with the Raiders, and I changed the game, the passing game of football. That's why they call it the Bob Hayes defense on some teams because of the zone. The game has changed a lot since I was there. The trend of football changes every year. One time, football got so dull, they had to change the whole concept of offense. You can't touch a guy after 5 yards down, or receiver 5 yards down the field now. You can't block below the belt. You can't spear the guy when he's on the ground. See, it's a lot of things that change and rules that change. When we was coming up, everything was going. And you had to be on your P's and Q's, because I'm telling you, I was the most hated guy in professional football because couldn't no one cover me man to man. At the cornerback on toe, out wide, about 15 yards off, they had this weak safety coming over and had the linebacker right over me on the line of scrimmage. So I had to juke the linebacker first, then pick up the safety or the cornerback. So, you know, and then this, you know, guys like Calvin Hill and Dan Reed, which coaches the Falcons, and all those guys come out of the backfield. They said if Bob Hayes didn't catch a pass, he worked 2 every game anyway.
We're visiting with Bob Hayes, former world's fastest human from the 1964 Olympics, and also a former All-Pro for the Dallas Cowboys wide receiver. Bob, you participated in, I guess, what is still considered one of the coldest NFL championship games.
Don't want to talk about it.
Back in the Ice Bowl against the Green Bay Packers and Vince Lombardi back in, 66, somewhere in that time frame. What was that like? I see film clips even today where you refuse to pull your hands out of your warm-up.
Well, see, everybody saw that on national TV. But if you research it, I also was the leading receiver in the game, you know. But then, of course, unfortunately, we lost. But they was a better football team than we. We were the younger team coming up, you know, and those guys had all pros across the board, plus a great coach and a great quarterback, great defensive lineman, great offensive lineman, they didn't have a weakness. And Tom Landry, and we couldn't really illustrate our game plan because of the weather conditions. But we were ready that Saturday. We arrived in Madison, Wisconsin, and drove on to Green Bay. But, you know, I'm not ashamed of it because we got there. We just fortunate they did there. There's a lot of teams that was in the league way older than us who've been in the league for many years, never made it. And Dallas come up in 60, and in 66, Dallas was in the playoffs.